Welcome back to the Go-Tanium Show, episode 4. I'm your host, Ashley McGlone, and today our theme is FOMO, fear of missing out. What goodness in 7.4 has slipped in that you may have missed? And that's what we want to cover today. And we have a special guest with us. You know, if you go look out on LinkedIn, you will find over 14,000 Greg Smiths. But we have the Tanium version of Greg Smith, and he has superpowers. And I want you to meet him today because he is our PM for the platform itself. He's the guy that decides what goes into 7.4 based on what you've told us. So, Greg, welcome to the show today.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you for having me. Sorry about no video. I just upgraded to Big Sur, and I'm having some technical difficulties with the camera.
Hey, this is our messy corner of the work from home world, and that stuff happens every day. So I'm just glad you're here with us today. But we've got your smiling mugshot, so that's good. So, you know, recently at Converge, you did a talk on what's new in 7.4 and even gave us some teasers about what's coming in 7.5. Now, on the show, we've already talked about Endpoint configuration framework, and we've already talked about Blue Star, some of that newness in 7.4.4, but I wanted to rewind a bit and talk about what else is in 7.4 that maybe hasn't gotten the press that it needs that's really going to be beneficial for our users. So tell us a little bit about what your role is here at Tanium, how long you've been here, and then what you've been working on this last year.
Sure. So, as mentioned, my name is Greg Smith, and I am the product manager for the platform here at Tanium. I've been here at Tanium for, this is almost 8 years now. I started off in 2013 as a TAM, working with some of our customers at the time, and since then, I have moved into the development organization, and now I'm here as the product manager for platform. So my role is to find out from our customers and our module teams what kind of features and new capabilities they need in the platform, and to make sure the next upcoming versions of the platform include those things. So it was a very busy 2020 for us. We actually released 4 major versions of the Tanium 7.4 server. And each one of them has a little bit of an iteration with new features. That's something new that we did for the 7.4 platform version as well, actually. Before 7.4, we used to do just one major release a year, and then we'd do maybe some improvements and stuff, but we didn't have the 7.3.1s, et cetera. We started that in 7.4. We have now 7.4.1, 2, 3, and 4 that we shipped this year, and it's really been an incredible year for us. So, yep, I can talk to you about some of the things that went into each one of those releases, and really want to encourage customers to go and upgrade to the latest 7.4.4. It's fantastic. So.
It is fantastic. And I know one of our emphasis this year as a company has been ease of use. We've done a lot of that in Blue Star, but there's some other ease of use features that you guys have been working on. Can you tell us about a couple of those with the module imports and configurations and things like that?
Sure. So in 7.4.2, we actually introduced the concept of CMI, basically an automated installation process for each one of the modules so that you could skip through the initial configuration and setup of each module if you wanted to. It's an optional checkbox that by default is turned on as you import modules, and common module import, actually. Sorry, that's the definition of CMI. And so what's great about that is, you know, we actually did some studies of how long it took for people to install Tanium and all the modules and get them all configured. And it was lots and lots and lots of clicks. And we wanted to streamline that entire process and also actually get the module up and configured in kind of like what we'd call the, you know, the defaults, best out of the box kind of configuration. So that's what we did with CMI. You now you go to click to install. You have the checkbox enabled to enable common module import, and everything will be taken care of for you. And in fact, not only that, but like you can actually select multiple products, multiple modules, and install them all at once, and have CMI run across all of them, so that right out of the box you have a viable Tanium environment that you can just hook clients up to and start seeing value from right away.
Yeah, so gone are the days of sitting there clicking install and then wait a couple minutes, install, wait a couple minutes. Now you've got this select all ability, and you can select all available modules for upgrade and things like that. Select all available updates. It makes it really a lot easier when you're going through in the Tanium Solutions page now.
Yeah. Where we've really seen a lot of value from this is from, especially in POCs. Someone can come in and bring a CD with them, or they could even start off with a new environment in TAS, our Tanium as a service, and just click, go have lunch, go grab a snack, and come back, and you have a fully installed and configured system ready to go. So.
Yeah, and now there's some other enhancements behind the scenes that, we've always bragged that Tanium is secure. If it's good enough for the branches of the military, it's good enough for you, right? But we've actually taken that up a couple notches with some of the improvements. Could you talk about some of the new security enhancements behind the scenes?
Sure. So the biggest one that we released this year in 2020 with the 7.4 release was actually our new protocol that the clients use to communicate with the server. So this is a little bit inside baseball, but like our old protocol was 314 and our new protocol is 315. So sometimes you'll hear us say 315 versus 314. So 314 was completely secure. That was what the military, as you mentioned, the military was using. It was, I don't want to give an impression that there was anything wrong with 314, but like we were seeing limitations, and we also wanted to come up with our technology to the latest state of the art, I guess you could say. And so some of the things that were problems or like things that we wanted to improve in 314 was like certificate management and automatic rotation of certificates, and basically the entire workflow of managing the security of the connections. We wanted to automate that in a lot of ways, and also bring it up, like I said, to current state of the art. So now in the 315 protocol, everything is encrypted. It's not an option anymore. In 314, our protocol could be encrypted or it could be not encrypted. That was actually an optional selection. In 315, it's always encrypted. Two, we changed it so that the certificate system itself really acts like a CA in a way. Each individual client is actually issued a new certificate with its roots going back up to the certificates that are available on the two Tanium servers in an HA environment. And basically, the entire system now is just like state of the art as far as being able to rotate the certificates that each individual component is using and each client is using. And it's all automatic and managed for you. Like our defaults are to rotate the certificates on the client every 6 weeks, to rotate the certificates on the zone servers every 6 weeks as well. And then the root certificates that are on the two servers can be rotated at the customer's discretion. So it's not only were we able to take care of these new enhanced security paths in 315, but also we did some compression of our algorithm, of our protocol as well. So we're seeing customers that have moved up to 7.4 servers with 7.4 clients as they rolled it out, using actually like 50% of the bandwidth that they were using before.
Wow, that's huge. 50% reduction in bandwidth just in moving to 7.4.
Yep. Yep, it's been really significant for those customers with low bandwidth environments. It's really been fantastic. So the new protocol actually gives us also a lot more flexibility. The way that we built it was in an extensible way, where the 314 protocol was pretty rigid in its structure. It had become kind of just difficult to like add new features to our clients and servers when it came time, because we here at Tanium, we have a real commitment to make sure that as we upgrade our server, we're continuing to support all of the old clients that we used to support. So we wanted to make it possible for us to add new features to the server and the clients and still have those clients form rings together, even if, regardless of what their client version was. And those new extensions will just pass right through a client if they don't know about them yet, or if the client is upgraded to the point where they do have that new feature, they can take advantage of those things that we're doing. So, that's
actually a good point. I wanted to bring that up because the 315 protocol is extensible, where the old protocol 314 was not extensible. So we've got some extensibility there, but we also have this new Tanium CX.exe process that's showing up on people's machines. Could you comment briefly, as I'm keeping an eye on the clock here, what is CX? Because that's a huge improvement as well.
Sure. So CX is our designation for client extensions. It is something that we originally added in our 7.2 client series and moves forward also in our 7.4 client series. And basically, that's the ability for the client to load modules up and run those or components, modules, components, pieces, load them up within the client so that we can extend the client itself. So for example, Recorder now runs directly within the client. We have direct endpoint connection runs directly within the client. Our long-term goal is to make sure that every component that we have runs within the client itself. And what you just mentioned, the Tanium CX, that's actually the process in which those modules or those components are being loaded up and running within the client context, within the client process.
Okay. So again, keeping an eye on the clock here, I want to respect everybody's time. I'm going to get you another list of big features here. Is one, so number one, we just talked about extensible client, which basically what that means to you in the enterprise as an admin is that you have to go to bat at change control fewer times to go upgrade the Tanium client everywhere, because now we're more extensible. So that's a benefit to you. Another thing that we've heard about a lot from customers is we need better offline data. You know, Tanium's great at giving us stuff that's online right now, but help us with the offline story. And we've had different ways of doing that. But Greg, talk a little bit about how we've addressed the offline data situation.
Sure. So during the 2020 year, we have released a component within Interact called TDS, or Tanium Data Service. That is a backend system that runs on the module server that collects and stores data over a time frame, so that you can go back and look at those results. And actually, whereas in a normal Tanium situation, you would ask a question, you get live answers back from all of the endpoints at that moment in 15 seconds or less. TDS is going to give you that long-term history of what those answers were over time, so that you can export that data, do manipulations or analysis of that data over time. So we've always had a focus here at Tanium of live answers, but we do see that like people out there wanted to be able to know what the answers were back in the past and what the history was. And so TDS has really given us a great approach to that. And you are seeing more of our modules also using TDS itself to ask the questions and make sure that the storage of that data over time, over the timeline, is accessible from those modules. So it's actually pretty cool. The TDS has both a transparent mode and a live mode, so it becomes seamless as those modules try to manipulate that data, which data is coming back live from endpoints and which ones are actually historical records.
And that's fantastic. That really is, because now you've got that little cached button up there in the UI where you had in the past, you had recent and with saved questions. Now we've got a little cached button there so you can see those cache results. You can add your own sensors to that cache. And this is really helpful. Even one of my own customers recently, they're using a quarantine situation. And so they wanted to have that quarantine data, even if a machine's offline, they wanted to know, all right, what's all my quarantine machines? So we just went in and added the is quarantine sensor to the cache. And now they've got the, the most recent answer from that machine without having to create a set of questions to do that. And so that's huge. And the modules are going to use that on their dashboards. Good stuff. Let's see. So we're talking to Tanium admins, and Tanium admins a lot of times are concerned about server-side performance. And I don't know that there's anything we can demo, right? We can just say, hey, the server is more performant. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Actually, we've improved the performance of the 7.5 server throughout that entire line, releases that we've done this year that I mentioned. And we have actually now been tracking that quite focusedly, because as we deployed Tanium as a service this year, one of the things that we took on in the platform was to add a lot of different metrics that we are monitoring there. You can also monitor, if you have an on-premises Tanium server, you can also monitor those metrics there. We're using a very common set of tools, Prometheus and Grafana. Prometheus is the recording mechanism. Grafana is one of the means that we use within TAS itself to actually display that data. And we can, the total CPU, the total memory that we've been using in the platform over time, we've made big strides this year in reducing that. And the real factor that allowed us to do that was adding all those metrics so we could see it over time, and we could start to address any issues of memory usage or CPU usage that we were seeing there. So that's been really good, and that is something that came out of the Tanium as a service effort that's also going to help our on-premises customers, because any improvement that we make into the platform for our service offering that's the same code that runs on premises for our users.
Well, that's a great point, Greg. And so now we've got TAS, which we'll probably cover that in a future episode. So a lot of that innovation gets ported out. Well, it all goes out to our customers with on-prem instances as well. So fantastic. So folks, today we heard from Greg Smith, PM for the Tanium core platform itself. And here are the takeaways. And I've got a bonus for you as well. So when you go to the change board and you're trying to get your change to upgrade Tanium to 7.4 approved, you can tell them that it is even more secure. All right, we've got the PKI infrastructure on the back end. We've got the encryption between everything that's talking. It's lighter on the network. We didn't even talk about the sensor enhancements, the way the sensors get sent down, the ECF, the endpoint configuration is going to make it lighter on the network, and just the core platform itself uses less bandwidth. Now, you've got your enhanced performance, like we said, on the server and the client. Fewer client upgrades because of this extensible framework. Now you've got better offline data. It's just easier to use all around. And unfortunately, we didn't have time to even go through all the new things in 7.4. So I've got this bit.ly link here for you. Greg did a talk at Converge in our November user conference, where you can go get more details about what's in 7.4 now and what's coming in 7.5. So if you go to bit.ly/Converge 7.4, you can, if you were not a Converge participant, you can still sign up for a free on-demand streaming pass there. Just register, and you can download the video and watch it and see exactly what Greg shared with our insiders at the Converge conference this year. So, Greg, thanks again for joining us on the Go-Tanium show, and we will see you all next time.